But what would, I know you just answered the question, but what would possess you to want to be, I saw some of your videos. I mean, that was tough. I mean, you're in weather below zero, you are.
Oh, yeah, it's wild. I mean, well below zero. So the first expedition to start this was an expedition to the South Pole, where I had to actually drag a sled with all of my gear, you know, a couple 100 pounds behind me till every single day walking. Till I finally reached the South Pole.
What is going through your mind while you're doing this?
It's a wild place. So you land, you know, on this in Antarctica where I got dropped off. I like to say that it looks like kind of standing inside the belly of a ping pong ball. It's just white in every direction. You know, it's weird. It's for a second it's beautiful. You're looking at this incredible landscape, but before you know it, it's like sensory deprivation tank, just white everywhere. And so you're really alone in your thoughts. And the average temperature there is minus 40 degrees. So. It's so cold that I could take a cup of boiling water and threw that into the air. I have a picture of this, and the boiling water turns into ice instantly. Like, that's how cold minus 40 degrees is. So to be out there every single day, kind of in your own mind, persevering. But again, I love the challenge. I love to push my body. And again, I think as humans, we have so many reservoirs of untapped potential within us. And that we can go into these amazing depths.
I want to tap into some.
Yeah, I think you have it.
So
I think you have it.
Tell me how. Tell me how. How do you set that mindset, especially talking about obesity? So many adults are obese, and there's so many skinny, fat people that are obese.
Yeah.
So how do you get us off our butts? What do you do? How do we
So, you know, for me,
change
like
that mindset?
like I said, so much around my campaign was around health and wellness, and certainly, you know, physical activity and movement I think is important, but I also think having a healthy body gives us a healthy mind, so we can achieve many things, not just athletic feats, you know, what I kind of do with my time. But, you know, what I always say is I love to have this big goal, this audacious goal. So sitting in that hospital room in Thailand, my mom said, set a goal. And I said, great, I'm going to race a triathlon one day. And you're looking down at my legs, I'm bandaged up, my legs are burned, doctor's saying I can't walk again normally. And so it was great to have that big guiding goal. But when I found myself back in Portland, Oregon in a wheelchair, my mom, she grabbed a chair from our kitchen table and placed it one step in front of my wheelchair. And she said, okay, you've got this big triathlon goal, but today your goal is to figure out how to take one single step. And it took me 3 hours that day to get out of that wheelchair and take that one step, but I did it. And that one step was my first step on the journey to eventually, as we know, getting to this triathlon and winning this race. So my advice out there is to set an audacious goal, dare to dream big. And then sometimes that big goal seems unattainable. When you're standing at the bottom of Mount Everest and you look up to the tallest point in the world, it seems like, how could anybody ever climb up there? But it's by literally taking that one single step. So to give advice to somebody else, I'd say, set a big goal, have that be something you're passionate about, but then ask yourself, what's one tiny thing I can do today? Forget about the big goal. Just ask what the one small thing is.
I did everything you said.
Yes.
And I set the audacious goal of climbing Machu Picchu.
Sure.
And I got there, and then it was so hot.
Yes.
I was tired. I partied the night before, and I just,
you
know
altitude?
what? I took a cab.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so embarrassed to say that. I walked a little bit, but then there's a little train, there's that, and I cheated. But I got there, and then I climbed some peaks because there's other smaller ones there. But I didn't do the big 5-day trek. And I was just, still today, that was 10 years ago, I'm like, why didn't I do that?
Well, there's still time. You could go back.
I could. But I think, I want my latte and my scone.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's something to be said for, being comfortable and all that sort of stuff. But I also think that we also grow as humans when we step outside of our comfort zone.
Absolutely. And I do that in other areas. But for physical activity, I think it's so important that you're doing the work you're doing, because kids today need it. I go to my daughter's school and half the kids are overweight, maybe more than half.
Yeah.
And it's so sad. It's like they're already being trained to not work out, not be athletic. And since I'm not so athletic, I'm trying to teach my daughter that it's important, or try to get her excited about something.
And a lot of those habits, in life really imprint on us at a young age. There's a lot of science that says that between 6 and 12 years old, we get a lot of our sort of lifelong habits. So if you can reach people at that age, not to say to give up on people who are adults now, but of course, if you can really reach people at a young age, and that's not to say everyone should be a pro athlete or train or climb the tallest mountains in the world. That's just to integrate small healthy habits into life. Whether that's walking, eating a balanced diet, eating whole foods, that types of things that are readily accessible. But as humans, our physiology is, if you go back, evolution-wise, our bodies have not evolved that much since we were, hunter-gatherer tribes, but of course we have all this technology now that allows us to not have that. So our physiology still demands that we kind of move our bodies a little bit and are healthier. And I certainly believe that as we do that, we can be more successful in all areas of our life, whether that's, an academic or a cerebral pursuit. Still having that healthy body allows us to